right now, I still think this is a pretty darn good Brood game.
It's just, I don't know. It's a weird sort of play here. Maybe, I don't know. I was gonna say maybe if the Lion gets something like a Blink Dagger, then you're a little bit less concerned with the Brood getting onto you. But then we're needing to set aside and guarantee enough farm for our Lion to grab a Blink Dagger, and that's not always something that's in the cards in the early stages of the game. And now, well, it looks a little bit better for DogChamp. They get the ABBA picked up, so the Bat Rider is not useless. That's a little too harsh, but you have a lot less to work with. These stuns will not be nearly as effective. You're not going to get through heroes just in terms of raw damage as quickly either with his shield and his heal. So it really feels like DogChamp are putting together a lineup that is strong in and of itself, ET, but also still manages to sort of stymie what Infinity are going to want to try.
Yeah, I like what they're going. I like what they have going for them. I like the Snapfire Brood lane. I think, again, it's going to be very hard once they close the gap onto the Lion for you to really do much. And then it's just the classic, of course, for B9 especially. It feels like Bane, Abaddon, it's just, I hear he's got easily, 300 plus games on it. Feels like in comp games, just something he's going to be able to whip out of the closet. And now the puck feels, I think, a little bit less pressured. There is one problem kind of in the back of my head that I'm worried about, and that's just, this is Infinity. They are going to be very strong at laning. They are going to be individually very, very skilled. If there's one thing that can kind of put aside, I can like as much as I want the draft coming in from DogChamp, but there is still that fear in the back of my mind where there are 5 very scary SA players who are going to play heroes with a lot of magic damage, and they are just going to simply try to outskill you, because that's what SA kind of tries to do in these NA versus SA matchups to their own detriment, but also because they know that they can in a lot of situations.
Infinity are going to grab themselves the Chaos Knight, which gives them damage, gives them that frontline presence, and does not make them 100% beholden to the magic damage, right? So the Broodmother with the pipe is going to be still useful, but it won't be a solution to every single core that the Infinity side has.
It's a very scary hero, and it's a slay hero. It's a carry that's going to buy a Blink Dagger, who's going to take pressure off your Bat Rider and your Tusk, who's going to get involved when we still have kind of our off lane / mid situation up in the air for Infinity, because they can afford to do so, because, they have last pick, and the Bat Rider is still that flexible choice, because if they wanted to, they could still look for their offlaner here and then pair something else with the Tusk. I think the main reason they'd want to do that is just because, well, Bat Rider isn't really that Wraith Pact builder that we keep on hyping up and talking about continuously, because it does matter that much. But that's where, hey, if they really want to, Enigma's still in the pool. Enigma Tusk, anybody? Like, I feel like we could just see them loop back around and then be very happy for pretty much their entire draft. But that's where they also are going to react to DogChamp's last pickup here before they really choose anything.
Mm-hmm. Got a lot of options in the pool here as wow. That's an interesting one. DogChamp taking a Phantom Lancer when Stonebank isn't in the roster. That's kind of been his, well, was his calling card. Obviously, the PL is not as popular anymore, but now you just picked PL into Lion, which is a little bit strange, but I don't really know. Do they feel so confident in it that they just don't really care about the lockdown on the other side? It's kind of funky.
It's also a forcing move in the draft, because if there was any guess that this was going to be a Bat Rider as your offlaner, that is dispelled. I don't think they're going to actively want to put the Bat versus the PL. They say that, okay, give us a new offlaner here. We're a little bit scared of the mids, and I think that could be it. That maybe there's one mid that they're really scared of, so they're saying, okay, now your Bat Rider has to be your mid. We're making you pick another offlaner here just because that's what we want to force you to do. It could be that. Of course, I'm not the captain. I'm not B9. It could also go as shallow as Italiano just wants to play PL because it looks like a good PL game, It's where you can kind of overthink yourselves a little bit here. But if it's Infinity, well, the options still stand. I still think could probably look for a hero like the Enigma. Really, any ranged offlaner still looks pretty darn good. And no,
There you go.
they go for the Tidehunter. And well, I mean, it's a Frank classic. That's a hero that just straight up cannot lose versus PL in lane. It's just impossible. And then Leostar takes the Bat Rider. So everything falls into place, I think, for them.
That Tide, you got the durability, you've got some team fight presence, and now a very solid front line, right? Chaos Knight and Tide Hunter going to be able to stand up against just about everything, so DogChamp, they'll have to go around. They no longer really have the option to go through.
Yeah, and still a scary game, I think, for Frank. Of course, you picked the Tide Hunter into the Abaddon, every single Ravage. Abaddon's going to pop his ulti and then look to save his closest ally. So when it comes down to those Ravages, Frank's probably just going to look to pop him on one hero, I can only imagine. And of course, the two heroes that he's going to want to pop them on, namely being the Puck and the PL, he has to be right on top of them. It has to be a perfect blink. It's almost like using the Ravage like a burrow strike, but he has to hit that mark. Otherwise, it's a Puck and it's a PL. They will get away. They will have those great escapes and they will struggle, I think, to keep on these targets. But that's what we'll have to see if I think Frank can really keep it down. Because if he plays a perfect Tide game, I mean, DogChamp just lose straight up. They lose the numbers game. They will run out of damage 20 post 20 minutes into this game, especially after the Wraith packs up. Everybody on Infinity is too strong.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that is the other thing about the Tide, right? He slots perfectly into the offlaner build that has come up now. So he's gonna feel more than comfortable picking that up. Let all those voice lines play out, you know. Just okay, more than I anticipated, but yeah, Frank's gonna build that up just fine. It's already gonna feed into what's already a pretty durable lineup that they've got going for them, so they are gonna be hard to bring down. Of course, that's assuming Frank is able to find farm, but that takes us back to our previous point. If you're a PL, how exactly do you bully a Tide Hunter out of his lane? It's not really something that you can rely on doing.
Well, Skyward says hello, but that's also where, speaking of Skyward, I do like that they just picked his best hero, period. This is his best hero. He's a level 30 Broodmother, I know. Scoff. Yeah.
Gross.
It's the way he's gotten his Myrrh up so quickly in the past few months, but it's going to be his time to shine and really strut his stuff here. I do think Parker has quite the scary
That's okay. That's incredible.
and they kill the ward on the way out, and then yeah, okay, everybody walks away. But that's pretty darn funny.
I don't know. Most players, Reality Rift, I mean, there is a cast time, but it's a pretty short one. You know, being able to cancel repeatedly is something I think some players may not have the reaction times for, but nifty play. As you said, it gets them the ward. 2-2 split on those initial bounty runes, though, so there's no real funny business beyond just the sort of de-warding attempt, but still looks funny as hell as Skyward. This is a little bit of an awkward path to get back into his lane, and Prada is going to just try and trade out some damage. He's got the Earth Spike coming in again. Of course, this is not a trade you want long-term. Get your hits in and then back off before the spider gets angry.
Yeah, and of course, as we said before, very level hungry. It is going to be a little bit annoying, I think, for Skyward early on here, because Snapfire is right in that same vein as well. You need the levels so your spells actually start to do real damage. It's where if you do start getting slowed up as well, then you really aren't going to have your 6 soon enough. Nice little trade, just being very efficient. And they do have to work a little bit harder, I think, to make this Reality Rift work. It's where the level 1 Chaos Bolt is definitely the better spell, but, you know, they tried something. Now it's just up to them to make sure they get those hits off with the reduced armor. Otherwise, it can feel a little bit annoying, but at the same time, Yusham, I think, blocked up that small camp. Waves pushing in. They're pretty happy with this current lane state.
Yeah, it's gonna go okay. They just need to be a little careful, especially when we hit level 2 and Parker does not need Earth Spike to set himself up. Instead, they can use it to keep the fight going, and the Brood has some armor, but, you know, you take, what, 4? Yeah, 4 of it away right at the very start, and ain't the most durable of heroes here. Is Frank able to reconnect? Swing the camera on over to him. His health is not great at the moment. He's got the Tango going for himself. He's holding a Fairy Fire as well, so I said before... Okay, still having some problems here. Said before, though, that Frank probably wasn't going to get bullied out of the lane. That will be the case in like a minute or two, right? When he hits level 2 and he's got either the shell or the anchor smash to work with, for now it's maybe the lone weak point that'll have in this laning stage.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I think a reason why he went for it was just because, of course, they were the ones aggressing onto that hill before. So I think a pre-skill, thinking that they could maybe get that first blood, but also not being too pressed. Genic doesn't have any spells skilled right now, just because he hasn't had to skill up the shards to try and get those range creeps, because the wave is just pushing incredibly hard into him right now.
As you said, not really feeling any pressure. No choice needing to be made. Of course, Genic is not making too much use of the Orb of Venom right now because he's just kind of dancing, but once he gets involved against B9, he can do a little bit more work. But that is early point up in the curse. So those right-click trades, at least against the Abba, do come with a little bit of a risk as Genic... Oh, okay. Not really feeling much fear here. If the Abba's not nearby, he can take a 1v1 against Italiano and not really care. 2v1 though, yeah, you might want to show a little bit more caution. There we go.
Not too bad though. Not too shabby in the slightest. Very happy. Frank just got a triple wave under his tower.
Genic's just making that lane so much easier for the Tidehunter. In the meantime, well, let's check in on mid here as the water runes are spawning. Actually, let's not check in mid because Italiano, he's going to get picked off top. The Gush does come into play after all. They're able to slow him down. No point in the tag team. They go with the shards and the snowball so that they have more lockdown than damage, and it does pay off for them.
Yep, just gets caught. Doesn't have the doppel either. They know he doesn't have the doppel because just last hitting, using the Phantom Rush, is pretty unfortunate for Italiano, but that's where now it's just time to chill. Don't give too much now over to your opponents. Just gonna clear your head here, because Tide, it's a hero that once you start getting a lead, again, it's number-wise. You just never start to fall off that horse. You just always keep out in ahead of your opponents.
Meanwhile, down bot, Parker got himself into a little bit of trouble. Nusham hit him with the cookie, and he was actually able to stun up both in that engagement as well. So Prada didn't immediately have the stun to respond, but they just don't have the damage quite yet. This is the problem for the Brood. Skyward is farming at a pretty solid rate. It's just you don't just melt through anybody at level 3 on a Brood Mother. It's just not the way it goes.
Yeah, of course, Insatiable Hunger, great spell, great for sustaining, but gonna need to buy a little bit more of that time. Been doing a great job of getting a lot of that good XP though, because hey, if you're gonna share it, then might as well just nuke for every single range creep. Just make sure it doesn't get denied.
Genic is really doing some work up top there. He was dangerously low on HP, but he saved the snowball for the last possible second, and on top of that, he snowballed, did not pull in Frank so Frank could continue to right-click, then pulled him back in about a half second before impact. Just maximized the time and the damage. They get the kill. Genic walks away and heals, and well, the safe lane for Italiano is not super fun here. He's gone down once, and he's been involved in a couple of fights that are sapping away some of his farming time.
Yeah, and now that Frank has Ring of Health and level 4, well, there's not much you can do versus the Tidehunter.
But now it becomes not even just oh, you can't do much to Tidehunter. With Genic sitting at 3, they can legitimately pressure some of these heroes. I mean, we've seen Italiano and B9 have each gone down once, so you have lost your chance to control this lane. Now you may have to actually play defensively.
This lane's very obnoxious, and of course, as soon as Frank is okay to be left alone, then that's where just simple plays like Genic stealing the bounty runes and the water runes, everything just kind of comes into play there. But for now, everybody is gridlocked in their lanes.
Yeah, can't really see too many rotations here as Genic. Got the shard block, the Gush is in, they're going to break their way through that shield. Tower shots, though, yeah. Genic didn't quite realize, I think, he was getting hit by those towers until it was a little bit too late. So he does go down. Skyward, meanwhile, able to find himself a kill on a Prada elsewhere on the map. So they give it the first 2 kills of the game. Unfortunate, sure, but they're able to get 2 right back on the board for themselves, and well, the Broodmother is in a much better position than you were in really just a minute or two ago. You're going to be able to farm. You were able to find that kill. Maybe you still can't fight Parker, but you don't really need to.
Oh, and here we go. It's starting a little bit. Nice waning rift in the mid lane. Odd shot another second that napalm, and now 6-minute rune. B9's just gonna kill it.
Arcane rune for Abba, you know, why not? Save a little bit of mana. But will there actually be a fight here? Look at the way that they're angling in. They're trying for somebody. They don't want B9, though. That is really not the option. He doesn't have his ult, but even if you kill him, I don't really think that's the way you wanted to deploy your lasso. So Leo Style is going to hold his fire. The supports are going to, at least for now, start breaking away, or maybe they're not. Genek has gone for a long wraparound here. It's going to hit the creep wave, though. So this is not all that sneaky after all. Huh. Well, that play may not have been sneaky, but this one is. Nusham gets kind of walked onto in the bottom lane. Parker and Prada both hitting him up, but they don't have the damage. Nusham then turns around for the cookie play onto Parker, but again, Skyward just can't get the kill quickly enough. Nusham falls. Genek, meanwhile, did get caught out. We mentioned that move in the middle lane kind of getting spotted, so RCY was able to finish him off, and that does turn it into a 1-for-1.
Yeah, just a nice little solo kill from RCY. Very simple play, but yeah, and then the sad part about playing versus CK is he goes to a neutral camp, you know, level 3 KS strike, he goes back to full. Not like that attempt really ended up slowing him down all too much, and Skyward doesn't know about Ganek here. Just TP'd in, and there's your snowball. There's your combo play, and don't think there's too many ways. He's very tanky, but
Man.
I think just too many disables.
If they did not have all three of those heroes, that kill just can't happen. Skyward, very durable, but oh, they were able to bring him down. That means Parker gets some chip damage onto this tier 1 as well. That's maybe not quite as valuable as the kill, but it's still going to be there. But this is what we were waiting for, right? Frank doesn't need a babysitter anymore. He can solo that top lane, so you have a very active support duo in Tusk and Lion who are going to be able to make some things happen, and maybe even Leo Style coming over as well. He has no Firefly, so his damage output's not the best in the world, but if he gets the lasso, it doesn't really matter. They should still be able to find a kill. As Nusham, you have no idea how close to the danger you are. Now he's going to spot Genek. But nobody wants that fight. That's a little too deep under the tower perhaps for them, and they knew Skyward was still here.
Yeah, if they could go with the creeps, then they would try that every day of the week. Their ward is still really nice here, just scouting out pretty much everything, but instead, they have to give up on it. Unfortunate that the Batrider was also walking over, otherwise they probably would have attempted that, maybe a little bit harder, but without that, then, yeah, everything just kind of looks ugly. And now, RCY doing some nifty stuff with the illusions right now, as the fake actually mid, pretending that it's a fake, and having 2 top, but the real one is there, and they're going to watch Frank walk forward.
Okay. Do they have the damage to do this? Well, he's already at half HP. That's certainly going to make it easier. Yeah. Waning Rift play. Just waiting until the last possible second to reveal that that was not an illusion, and Frank gets taken down. Skyward on the other side is going to get spotted by Genek. This is going to be a little bit awkward. Snowball should still... Actually, no, it won't hit. Wow. That's a very fast spider.
Yeah, just walks that one out. It's finally level 6, so now he can just do whatever he wants. Park is still very happy with his lane and actually switches up his build. Had the Midas queued up for a while, but decides to just simply go for the armlet instead. Probably get both regardless, but just wanting that armlet a little bit sooner. But now it's just a matter of whether or not Parker decides to stick around, or if he does eventually decide to leave, because they want to put Frank bottom. They want to put him versus the spider. They want to have him. He's got max level anchor smash. He can actually kill those spiders, but it's just a matter of whether they can make that rotation nicely for them. It's 10-minute. Leo Style gets the DD mid.
Grabs the rune. Genek is kind of caught here. Dream Coil deployed against 2. Cookie Stun comes in. Is there going to be a snowball in time? No, there isn't, but the lasso came through. B9 should die here. Will RCY go down as well? He's trying to get away with the Waning Rift. Now he's got the Illusory Orb, but... well, he's not the target. Leo Style decides, you know what? Let's get the easier kill. I still have a DD rune. He's able to take down Nusham, so... 2 for 1 on the support trades. Leo Style is able to make use of that rune, and all the while, they got the exact situation you just described, DT. Parker's in the jungle. Frank's taken over bot.
Yep, and if he can kill this card, which he will, now Skyward has to be pretty nifty when it comes to getting his spider hits in, as he still will pretty much assuredly get this tower, but doesn't have his soul ring just yet, so a little bit tight on mana. It's flying out on the courier, but this tower will slowly but surely get taken out. And then it's all up to Skyward to just not get picked off, but very nice.
Or hit. There we go. But now he might get caught. That Firefly's just going to burn all the spiderlings. Okay. Okay, it clipped. Never mind. I was about to be very concerned, ET, but they do still get the kill with the Ravage. Leo style may pay for this. Dream Coil snap into Cookies. Or not Cookies, Kisses, excuse me. But it is going to be a kill their way. Nusham's the one to get it. Would have liked to have RCY actually find the last hit there, but I like that timing, that bait, right? You assume it's just the puck, so you snap the coil, and that means Kisses are on target. Now Frank might be in some trouble too. They know he Ravaged, so he's got no way out. Eventually they find it. Took him a little bit of extra time, but they will get the kill. That's a problem, though. Italiano Gangster, left alone in the top lane, did not back up as his teammates went in, so they do collapse onto the PL. They'll find the kill and the tier 1.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, just couldn't stay long enough. He didn't feel comfortable enough to TP out versus the Tusk. Just got purely rained down under the tower. Didn't really give him too much trouble for it either, but, you know, it's an impossible situation. Getting the Tide bottom, though, is probably the best play they could have made to counteract the counter feed, but we'll have to see what they can do now, because even though the Kisses are still on cooldown for another minute, we've got Coil up in 5 seconds, got a Haste Rune on RCY. They definitely want to get active here and especially make plays on the mid lane, and that's why Skyward, he's already rotated over. A lot less of a selfish build coming in from Skyward. He's not really farming and occupying that same space. He's giving a lot of that space over to the PL, which makes sense, but results in a few of your item timings now going to get slowed up.
Of course, if this maneuver does get them maybe an extra tower or two, a little bit of extra momentum, that will be the trade-off that makes it worth it. As B9, okay. Cookie helps him get out without having to use his ult, but that does mean Nusham is caught in the middle of this. But RCY, does he have a Dream Coil? He does, but there wouldn't be any damage even if he hits it on the 3 or 4 here, so he's just going to have to hold his fire. That means Bloody 9 is just left out in the cold. They're going to be able to take down both supports, and well, the tier 1 tower did not fall. It dropped pretty low, but they weren't able to finish it on the DogChamp side, so let's say if you're Infinity, mission accomplished.
Yeah, tower defended. Tower still took damage, you know, still maybe not the happiest situation for you, but you're still getting pretty much what you want here, and you're slowing up. Of course, we're never going to see really Infinity take a stab at the other tier 1 until maybe they have something that's going to let them cross the river, like a Blink Dagger on Frank, but until then, they're looking for big items. Their CK's getting tankier, their Batrider's getting closer towards that BKB, and then, again, if your 2 cores are just tanky strength monsters and your other core's got a BKB in queue, that's the real danger zone for DogChamp. It's why they have to keep looking for plays. And Genic, he's coiled. Gonna get kissed on a little bit too, but watch the counterplay.
Tried to pig pole to get himself out there at the end. Was not able to do so, but now Frank's going to let fly with the Ravage. Who can they find? They're going after the puck. Can they lock him down? Yes, they can. RCY taken down. B9 very nearly died there as his ult was activating, but he is going to be able to survive. His teammates, though, well, his teammates aren't going to be as fortunate, and actually Bloody Knight himself did not last very long. The second his ult ends, they finish him off, and now, oh, you don't want to be here. Italiano, that's a huge mistake. Tries to just, I don't know, find what he thought was an easy kill into the Lion, but he still had the Earth Spike. He locks it down, and Parker just kind of walks in there for a freebie.
Yeah, and it's really smart, and I think, unfortunately for him, just the tide was on the high ground, so he looked all the way across to the other high ground with the CK, just daytime vision just kind of playing against you there, and then you got punished, and you lost very hard now, and usually what should be the real slow time for Parker and CK in general, Parker's almost level 12. He's almost got a second illusion. He is so ready to continue these fights and to continue just straight up brawling. He's gotten past the lull in what should be his hero's downtime, but just doesn't care. He's just looking to make every play he possibly can. And of course, kills where he didn't really do anything aside from get kills. Kind of always smart a little bit, but the next Ravage, the next few level spikes, can only imagine that Infinity are going to look at this mid tower now. You know, even look at Frank. I don't know if he's gonna buy this, but got a Radiance queued up. Guy's
Uh,
confident.
Interesting choice. Yeah, we'll see if he actually goes for it or not, because he is holding his money for the time being, but the man has ambition. That's certainly something that you can't really take away from him, but I don't know. I mean, you'd be going without a Wraith Pact at that point, but they've got 14 kills on the board in 16 minutes, and they haven't quite needed the Wraith Pact yet, so it shall. Let's see. In the meantime, Parker, I believe he got himself the shard. Yes, he did. So he does have the upgrade to the Chaos Bolt, so he's going to have the extra Phantasm Illusion from both the Bolt and from the next level of Phantasm itself. He's going to do quite a lot of damage. He's already doing a lot of damage here as Newsham, yeah, just kind of walks into that one and gets punished almost immediately.
Yeah, tank the gank, you know, you do what you gotta do, but as soon as Newsham's alive, I feel like it's time to smoke, time to make another play happen. You've got all of your ultimates right now. There's really no reason not to go, except for to wait for an item, but all of your items are so expensive. Really, the closest one you have right now is Skyward having his point booster and then having that full Wraith Pact completed, but I don't know if I like this play. They're smoking ahead of the Snapfire now, and the only way they can now connect on bottom is if somebody meets him there in Leo style. Oh, he's giving him the perfect play.
Yeah.
But is the Snapfire close enough? This is the question. And there you go.
Snap still in. RCY finds the kill. I think they saw those shards come in, so they know Gennick's nearby. So is Frank now. What can Frank do? He could pop a Ravage, but without the CK, there's no damage, and RCY is kind of starting to figure that out, trying to get a couple more hits in here, but looks like they're now turning their attention back towards mid. They still want this tower. They have not been able to pick it off yet, and we've got Italiano Gangster sort of coming along for the ride here as well. So they are at, for this time frame at least, they're sort of maybe maximum power spike. They're going to try and make something happen, but Italiano, he gets isolated entirely. They just ignore the illusions. They knew which one was real from the very start. And what is there left to do? RCY doesn't have Dream Coil for 25. He's trying to run Distraction here, but it's not really going to be enough. Prada dies, but he trades out for another support, and oh, ET, I said, you know, Italiano's along for the ride. Apparently he was running point on that, and that's not the scenario you want. The PL should not be leading you in that situation.
Yeah, he just thought he'd be safe with the Abaddon as close as he was, but just gets clipped by one too many spells, and, well, you've got Frank back on your tier 1 mid. It's a slow push, but slow but insidious, and now that you've got a Blink Dagger finished up on your puck, you'd hope that you can connect and make some more solo plays, but just hasn't happened yet. In Skyward, well, this is a close kill. He's got a lot of spiders onto the PL, or onto Leo style, and I think he should go down here, but now they're burning. Now he's running out. Should get the kill, though.
Okay. Spawn Spiderling's nuke is still going to be there. B9 now coming over to help out as they're going to look for a second. They get on to Gennick. They're taking him down too, but with Parker here, this is getting a little bit complicated. Dream Coil deployed, though, by RCY. That's going to lock down too, but oh, he needs more mana for the Ravage. He is able to pop the wand, but do they actually still want this? Prada's coming over just in case. At this point, I think they'd be better served just trying to get themselves out, although well, the fight breaks out a little bit to the west. B9 went in. He's able to eat the Hex. That means RCY can go in looking for the damage, but he just gets absolutely turned on. RCY will fall, Finger of Death deployed, but that does mean elsewhere Skyward and Newsham were able to get directly onto Parker, did not have backup, and they will take him down and Prada down. So overall, it's a very strange second half of the fight, ET, but DogChamp get a lot of what they wanted. Really, the loss of the puck, the only thing that can kind of be counted against them.
Yeah, I think that was the only unfortunate circumstance, and the only reason RCY does that play, because I feel like he knows that's a one-way road, is because it does allow Parker to die. If he is not taking the attention of the Tide Hunter and the Lion, then they can actually defend the CK underneath that tier 2 tower, but instead, they get their first kill onto Parker, they put the CK on deck. During that entire time, Italiano Gangster's farming on PL, and of course, before any of that started, your Broodmother got 2 kills. So really, I think, huge success for them. Still, of course, having to play versus this Tide Hunter. Frank is not really killable right now, and he is committed. He's got the Sacred Relic, so he's actually just buying a Radiance. So maybe that's going to be his answer to the Broodmother. But also, got to see Wraith Pact and DogChamp. I mean, just buying some more serious items, maybe more ready to game. And RCY, he's still never skipped a beat, and he has really just done a fine job of finding Prada every single time. very rarely has the line been able to be the one initiating. And now Leosto, he gets hit up, loses half his HP, shows off his BKB, but RCY can't get touched.
Yeah, the puck is still playing incredibly well, 6-2 and 6 as the stat line, so, you know, he has stumbled once or twice, but for the most part, the plays have worked in his favor. This play, though, is going to get a little bit tricky. Skyward was able to dodge the flame break. Of course, that does mean this tower is... Never mind. Tower was going to live, but Frank decides, let's just deny it. So, tower will still fall. Lift refreshed. DogChamp don't really get as much money as they wanted, but claim another objective. The south side jungle opens up that much more, and now Genek, that's a very risky move, but he had his blink. Snowballs in, clears the creep wave, blinks out before anyone can really punish him. But up in the top lane, there is some punishment going down. The puck's been caught. And you were saying before he was doing a good job of making it so that Prada couldn't get in there and do much, but with his own blink dagger on the Lion, kind of changes things up.
Yeah, didn't even have Finger. Just had Parker in the right spot. Great positioning from him, and now B9. A very quick death here.
Well, always kind of sad seeing the ABBA sort of go down like that. In theory, you know, borrowed time is supposed to make you unkillable. You can tank damage, you can get away from a fight. 99% of the time, ET, it just means you die 4 seconds, 5 seconds later than you normally would have.
Yeah, at least it's not a Slark. That's the worst one. Same with Cold Embrace, where he's just hitting you, and you're just like, just kill me.
Was this worth it? Was this worth the middle finger to my opponent? Probably not.
Yeah, and now we will have to see, because Infinity, they want to get Roche started. They really want to get to that next level of the game. They've got BKBs, they've got 2 Blink Daggers, Frank's got a Radiance, you know? This would be their moment to, I think, start to really open up the map and get, again, those bigger objectives open to fire here. Because right now, they're behind tower-wise. They still haven't taken a shot at that mid-tier 1 either. That's still standing for DogChamp. It's where they are down the exchange right now. And if you don't feel like you can fight your opponents, then forcing them to fight you by taking a big objective like Roche is your next option. It's just a matter of whether or not and when they decide to blow the trigger here. But also, Leo Style, does he get a blink? No, he's just getting an Aether Lens, which, sure, I can see it. I can see why you'd want it, but at the same time, I feel like just you can never have too many initiators.
That is very sad. Bloody Nine just got his ult popped by Parker's illusions. Now that it's wearing off, they go back in onto him. They will find the kill. At the same time, though, they're eyeballing Frank in the middle lane. They'll hit him up with the Dream Coil. Do they have the damage for this, though? Flame Break's going to come in, knocking people back. Frank is holding fire on the Ravage, and he's not going to need to use it. But now look at this. It comes in, Snowball connects, Walrus punches there. They're going to lock Nusham down. Now the Ravage comes into play, hitting on everybody as Parker joins the fight. He and Prada coming in from the north. They'll take down RCY first. Nusham now falling as well. And Skyward is on the run. Leo Style gets the lasso, though. Extended cast range with the Aether Lens allow him to make the connection, and this Broodmother is going to try to TP out. I mean, you weren't going to get out on foot, so I suppose it was worth a try, but an unsuccessful one at that. They will lose Skyward. Now Parker is into the Roche pit. And they're going to get this. There's very little DogChamp could do to try and contest.
Yeah, and, you know, I don't want to be a doomer, but you'd hope that wouldn't be just it. But they've been riding such a fine line up until this point. They're still buying time for Italiano Gangster. He's got 270 last hits. It's not like he's poor, and, well, okay, bye, B9.
He's doing his best here. He did get Genek a little bit low, but now the reinforcements come in, or maybe they don't. It's actually Italiano Gangster joining the fight. Parker has to back away. Leo Styles dropping low. BKB forced out. He's going to look for the TP home. Managed to get both of the cores away to safety, and ET, someone has to die. There we go. They'll get something as Prada goes down. There is no way you come out of that with 0 casualties, but not the ones that they wanted, not the kills that they were hoping for on the DogChamp side.
Yeah, and it is just the strength of those BKBs. There's nothing that DogChamp can do except for have Italiano run in like a madman and try to do as much physical damage as possible. And hey, he's got a heart and 50 gold, and hey, they're not done yet. Making some plays here. This is where they're trying to get those next plays going already because, hey, you pop both your BKBs and TP'd away from us. You're stuck in your fountain right now, and we know that. So when you leave the base, we are aware that those BKBs are still on CD. They're doing a great job of boxing them out of the map, but aside from that, DogChamp are still pretty unhappy with the way this game's gone so far. Restat.
Yeah, okay. Some lag for B9. He's going to try for a reconnect, and well, Frank's going to take the opportunity to do the same. Why not? So, quick reconnect. Hopefully it deals with the lag situation and we can get back into this, but as you said, let's take a look at the actual graphs here. Just past the 26-minute mark. It is still a lead in Infinity's hands. Realistically speaking, not much of one. They're up by like 500 gold at this stage, but see in the previous 10 to 15 the rather sizable shifts in momentum that we've seen. So just because you're up now doesn't mean you're going to stay up with the way that these two teams have been playing. Somebody's got to sort of put together consistent team fight performances.
Yeah, of course, and that's also where well, this is going to be our strongest moment if we're Infinity. We've got our BKBs, we're going to have an AC pretty darn soon. The big question mark still is Frank, and whatever Frank's thinking. He's got a Reaver coming out. He just has Heart Radiance on Tidehunter. Kind of feel like he's making the game a bit harder here, but aside from that, DogChamp have so much room to grow. Heart's coming out for the PL right now. Of course, with Puck, you're always looking for the 25. RCY is still, a good bit away from that, but that's where the game will kind of turn on its head, where suddenly your spells that are completely countered by BKB are no longer countered by BKB. And at the same time, looking over at Skyward, just finished off the pipe. Feels like he's pretty happy with his defensive capabilities. Would probably like to see him get a BKB next, honestly. I think that was one of the mistakes of the previous two Brood Brothers, is just waiting that long before they could. And of course, versus Tidehunter, BKB will just let you survive that, or could very simply just see him get the Ags.
Yeah, he does have the Ags in the quick buy. It's sitting alongside a Hex, so I guess we'll have to wait and see what components he picks up to really know what his plan is moving forward. But DogChamp are starting to build themselves up a little bit here in terms of the itemization. Meanwhile, for the Bat on the other side, exactly as Leo style looking. He's got his BKB up. We saw that in the last fight as he used it to TP out, so he doesn't really need much more, quote unquote, right, to still make the initiations he wants. It's just a matter of, do you want now durability or damage? Although you're a Bat Rider, you really can't build much in the way of damage, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, back when the talents were jumbled around a little bit, you had the Witchblade Ag Shard build, it still kind of works. It's not good anymore. Nah, never mind. I give up. But that was the old build, but now it's, just get Octarine Core, get Overwhelming Blink, probably get a refresher after that, and then you're done. You're done. Shiva's as well, also huge value in this game, of course, versus PL. Just one of the classic items, simply buy, just to slow him down, make sure he can't actually generate those illusions too easily. But we'll have to see. He's got room to grow. Octarine Core is, of course, never bad. Just always have your spells up just a little bit faster. Never a poor choice.
TP's himself bot just to deal with the push coming in. His teammates, though, are getting awfully close to the enemy here. They're just going to run right into it. Frank, he's going to lead the charge. He just got the heart delivered out to him, so he is incredibly tanky. But it looks like DogChamp don't really want the engagement just yet. Or maybe they do. No, they tried to push their way forward. They're going to be able to get onto Prado with the kisses, but they have to sacrifice Skyward, and now they actually caught the PL in the lasso, and they finish him off. Frank doesn't have the mana for the Ravage, so they don't actually have the lockdown. This is starting to go kind of wrong. They're going to lose the CK. He does have a second life to work with, though, so he is coming back up, but Italiano was able to use all that time to regen all that health with his heart, and this is not what Infinity wanted. They have to back away. Leo Style has been caught and taken down already. Oh, Hex onto RCY, but his teammates are here to pick up the slack. They're going to push it onto Park, making sure the CK has to just play defensively. He's going to go for the BKB and TP himself home. He'll make it back to the fountain. But now Frank is getting really chased into his own base, but he still has a heart. He's still just so hard to bring down. But DogChamp, they win the fight. They may not have killed as many heroes as they wanted, but they do get the important ones, and now they're pushing high ground.
Yeah, and without BKB on CK, Parker's not feeling very confident right now. Does hit a 4-second stun onto the real PL, but okay, Prada goes down, trying to kill RCY, but it doesn't matter.
They can't finish him off now. Oh my god, RCY comes in with the Dream Coil. That is countered out by the Ravage, however. RCY taken down. Lady 9 will fall as well. They need to be able to get onto the real Italiano, though. That is going to be the key for them. Can they break through these illusions? They are doing their best, and they're doing a pretty damn good job. Italiano's going to fall. And Parker picks up the triple kill, so... Well, they take that fight having already lost their Bat Rider, and it's going to work. Walrus Punch cancels the TP. Nusham is still stuck here, but he's got Skyward nearby. Well, maybe he doesn't. Skyward kind of looking like he just wants to get out. He's going to look for the TP home, so... Yeah, Nusham's on his own.
And it's tough to say, right? Because they get the Aegis, they get a good few kills, they do get kind of countered and punished out by that Ravage. Again, it's just RCY just playing with his food for the longest time, and then Frank actually just bops him on the nose there, you know, with the Ravage, just making sure he can't hit it, even though Frank was getting worked up until that point. It's funny, the only way Frank was able to find that Ravage was because he TP'd from well, and then just had the mana to actually make it work, and the positioning, but... a mistake that DogChamp can't really afford again here, as well as Parker somehow finding and just hating the real PL the entire time. Just very aware from him. I feel like maybe a little bit more juking out from Italian Gangster and would be harder to discern, but Parker was just on it.
Kind of remarkable. Parker was able to hit the right one. We had a couple of fights earlier where Leo Style just lassoed the real one, so they have been able to tell. Of course, I don't know, maybe someone knows the exact math. Now that the heart's been picked up, maybe it's easier to tell which one's the real PL versus illusions. I don't really think that's the case here, but they've been able to hit up on the right target. They're looking pretty good now. They just need to... Well, they need to maintain this moving forward, right? Because we said the same thing the last time they won a team fight, and then they pushed into another engagement that they ended up losing, and it kind of just reset all their progress.
Oh, now, walking top, Prada knows he has the backup, and Frank got a Paladin sword. I think Prada might be just dead.
Yep, Prada gets taken down. Nusham finds the kill. Not the worst loss for them there, although the Lion bought back in, I think, actually 2 fights ago, technically speaking, but yeah, he doesn't have his buyback available. He's dead for 30. Parker, though, is looking for RCY. Looking is kind of the operative phrase there. Not able to actually find any sort of full-on engagement, and had to use a BKB charge, so that is down to 6 now, and it's on cooldown for over a minute, so I don't know. That has been the thing for Parker. They have gotten onto the puck really repeatedly in this game. He's gone down 5 times, but it's never been one hero. There's always been that 1-2 punch. There's always been the secondary lockdown to secure the kills. So Parker alone really isn't going to have the means to find that pick.
Yeah, and of course, Parker, wow, just buys out a full Silver Edge in the base. Okay, sure. Gonna say, not buying a Blink Dagger, doesn't care. Okay, he's thinking of elsewhere, just sold the full thing. Okay, he's buying a heart, you know?
Okay, yeah. Changed his mind like 3 different times there in the span of 10 seconds.
It's these SA carry players. Not every person is just sitting on 5.6k gold, you know? he's got time and money to work with, but Roche is alive. Time for them to rotate over. Gonna scout out in a sec here. The shards didn't, but Parker will, and it seems about time.
Wow, Leo Style is trying to hunt down Skyward here.
Oh, he's dead.
Yep, there's the lasso. They need some further damage. Prada's gonna come in to help. Finger of Death will be there. Hex follows it up. Skyward dies, and back in the pit. Roshan will fall. Aegis into the hands of Parker. Frank was able to take the shard. Not going to keep it for himself, though. Passes it off to the Battle Rider instead, so... Well, it's not quite the Witchblade into the shards, but he does at least have the shard to work with, and... I don't know. Realistically speaking, it's not great, but it's better than not having it.
Yeah, and I am slightly surprised. I know the Tendril of the Deep is not the most beloved of of shards in the game, but definitely feels like at times it can be very impactful. But at the same time, here we go, going up to the high ground. They know that the Broodmother's dead, so the PL has to actually show on these buildings to get that split push going. And Frank, with the level 20 talent, Anchor Smash affects buildings. He's actually a sieger.
This is going to force some sort of response. RCY is already in. They brought Italiano Gangster over as well, and actually glyphed just in time to save the tower, so... That might just be enough, actually. The creep wave is going to die. They don't really want to go and send someone in just to get the one last hit on it, so... It's very well done by DogChamp to keep their buildings alive, but... Now, how do they approach... Oh, the prospect of fighting into the Aegis and fighting into Parker now that he has a heart finished off on the Chaos Knight.
Yeah, and I think DogChamp showing the PL up top already, they know that there's nobody to hunt here from Infinity. They say, okay, we got Glyph. We know that if we kill that top tier 3, then, well, you're just going to get Glyph back. So let's clean up this bottom tier 2. Let's keep in these 2 mid waves, or the mid and bottom wave, and then suddenly they'll have 2 more objectives to play around with and play for. So really, it's just another great example of abusing the new Glyph.
Their best to try and take some control here as Genek is very much alone in the top lane.
This is crazy.
How much damage did Genek think he had? Although, maybe it's just the bait play. Leo Style's coming in, but...
Got Snowball? Yeah.
This is getting weird. He's able to blink himself out. He'll TP home. All of that, honestly, I thought it was a bait. Maybe it's not a bait. Maybe it's just a distraction, because that guarantees that there's no one here to defend the tower. Although Nusham, he's in the area. There realistically wasn't anything he can do, and now they might know that he's here. They're searching for him. They track down the kill. Yes, they can. Hex into Reality Rift. Nusham gets taken down. That Chaos Bolt effect is freaking out on the illusions. Do not like that. Let's look at something else. But, yeah, it pulls, what, 3 heroes into the top lane to try and chase down Genek, and he doesn't die, but even if he had, it still would have opened up the lane that they wanted into the base.
Yeah, no Frank. Oh, he's here. The Ags on Broodmother did just get placed, and they are getting placed right now, but I feel like Frank's got it. He's got 2 cards behind him as well. Got the Tendril, too. As long as he has mana, he is a threat, and Italiano isn't able to really work on him just yet here. Even though they want to chase their opponents out of the base, every Anchor Smash, just a little bit more HP knocked off.
Frank is just so tanky at this point. As you said, the real limit is just his mana pool. Can they burn it away? Can they do something to defend the racks? No, they can't. They're going to lose the whole bottom lane. That was a Dream Coil. They throw the Dream Coil in. The Puck was able to jump away, at least for the time being, but they've got to find some kills, but there's going to be the Ravage connecting onto 3. They're going to be able to take down Skyward first. Italiano, though, he's still fighting, but his backup is running a little bit low. RCY had to fall back. They're going to try to heal him up as best as they can, but while they heal him up, the front line is collapsing. B9 is in some trouble. Once his ult ends, he should be taken down, but he is able to get himself back into the base with the Force Staff. Genek wanted to snowball after him, but didn't have the range, so he blinks back out while Parker shifts his focus. They take down Nusham, so they have finished off one of the ports, but they really do need to get onto the PL. That certainly helps. They'll hit him up with a Bloodthorn, but they're not actually able to kill him off just yet. Italiano Gangster's the one to get the kill. He'll take Leo Style down, but slowly but surely he's getting into dangerous territory. His teammates have to keep him alive, force staffing him around. Italiano will live, but that means RCY is the one in the crosshairs. Silence deployed. Can he jump to the orb? No, he can't, because the silence didn't wear off in time. He's not dead yet, though. Waning Rift actually going to allow him to make his escape, and DogChamp, I mean, ET, they don't win the fight, right? I mean, can't really make that argument, but they don't necessarily lose it either. The racks that they lost, they had already lost. That was sort of the previous engagement, but they make sure there's not further damage.
Yeah, They, again, burn out all of Frank's mana, and Frank had to pop his Ravage, I think, a little bit earlier than he would have liked to. It doesn't really clip onto anything, and okay, maybe a little bit of a freebie here from RCY. Tusk can't cast any of his spells, and okay. Puck's level 23 now. Again, slowly getting up there and closer to the 25, but a good deal of time has now been bought for DogChamp. Aegis just expired. You weren't able to get onto any other buildings. Of course, your glyph is still in shambles, still in CD for another 2.5 minutes, and that's where you probably want to see Infinity getting a little bit more aggressive yet again here, but it's where will we see another team yet again turtle up with this Broodmother? I could see it. Without Aegis, that CK has to be much more careful than he actually is able to play. Of course, I want to say that we're going to have to wait for another Roche, but that's where we're going to have to see how confident Parker feels, because one death, and then suddenly him and Italiano Gangster are on even footing again.
And we see some items coming into play. That was a full Octarine purchased by the Puck. You have an Ags up now on B9's Abba, so well, the borrow time is not just for him anymore, right? The Mist Coil's coming out, healing his teammates up, giving him even more incentive to just stand in the middle of every single fight. And that was a Silver Edge. Finished off on Italiano Gangster as well, so now got a little bit more to deal with. You have the chance to maybe get a little bit more damage onto someone like the Frank Tidehunter or Parker CK if you can disable some of those passives. You don't have the Shell, maybe you don't have the Chaos Strike to work with. I don't know if that's really enough, ET, to confidently say, okay, we can kill them off because we've taken their passive out for 4 seconds, but a better situation than you would have been in without it, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think, very importantly, gives the PL another elusive tool as B9 just TP'd in. There goes his ulti. He does have Ags, so the CD will be a little bit earlier, but okay.
Healed up to full. Leo Sal, though, he's able to get in. He's going to grab the lasso onto the Snapfire, trying to pull him away. Nusham already
Parker's
got the
in
kisses
trouble.
out, but yeah, Parker needs a little bit of assistance here. That's a lot of assistance. That's a Ravage pop defensively, but the Dream Coil does still come in. The question is, who do they actually target here? They need to go all in on one of the two. They're kind of splitting their focus as Frank will TP out, so that means they're going to try to get back in onto Parker. Can they actually kill him off, though? I think eventually they can. It's going to be a slow process, but they'll get it.
Will you come mid and hold? Will you come
Okay,
mid and hold
well,
hands with me?
That's the beginning here, and, well, this is going to be the real decider. 10 seconds until we know what the Roche's timer is. If Italiano Gangster has an Aegis in his back pocket in the next 30 seconds, Infinity are going to be mad. And no, okay, Roche is going to be kind to them, is going to let them move past their CK's death here, but as we can see, they're just going down mid. They don't care. Prada's going to get killed off as well. Now you just hit 25 on the Puck. Dreamcoil pierces magic immunity. If the Batrider is not extremely careful here, Wheelstyle could also feed his death away into what could be, again, the next free Roche.
Italiano, he is going to focus the objective for the time being. Forced out the glyph, just trying to get back in there. Honestly, you know, they're getting through this tier 3 tower at a relatively nice pace. Just ignoring Frank as much as they possibly can as they do push their way in, but now the reinforcements are going to arrive. Maybe they try for the fight. They get the break onto the Tidehunter. They're going to get the spit out play as well into the Dream Coil. Connecting onto 2. Still 30 seconds for the CK. Still no buyback for him. But RCY, does he have the damage for the kill? He needs to be able to take out somebody. He doesn't manage to get it, but the Batrider is forced back into the fountain. So his teammates were at least able to take the tier 3 tower while that goes on. But Genic kicked back onto Skyward. His teammates didn't look like they were ready for it, though, and now Frank is actually silenced up, so you're not going to have any sort of lockdown from him at least, but you do have the lasso into the finger. That's going to be enough to take Skyward down. Genic sacrifices himself for that play, but it's a nice one-for-one trade. But now if the Tidehunter goes down, your defense is going to look iffy. Can they keep him alive? For now, they can. And now they've got the Chaos Knight back into the fight. Parker is pissed off. Look at him just shove his way forward. He's looking for any kill that he can get. He's going to be able to get onto B9, but Nusham actually spits him up now, or gobbles him up rather, spits him out back into the fight. And this is where things get a little bit complicated. Italiano trying to lead the charge, pushing his way forward, burning through the mana on Frank, dropping the Tidehunter relatively low, but they need more, and that's not... No. I'm not really sure what that was about. Was that trying to get out or go back in? Just kind of feels like the Puck wasn't on the same page as the rest of the team.
Yeah, a little bit of an awkward coil, but hey, 30 seconds and we'll be right back up. And Lines being drawn, but now it's time for Infinity to immediately refocus and realize that, well, Roche is a possibility, and Roche is going on right now. It's currently getting Bloodthorned, and he is going down incredibly quickly. But nobody else on the team is making that same rush, so they're not going to see it.
There's the Aegis in the hands of the PL. Ags picked up by the Spider. Fight breaking out. B9. Well, he's the first one up the ramp, so he absorbs all that damage. Has his ult activate. Now they're going to push in, but there's the Ravage connecting onto about 2 or 3. They get the lasso down onto the Abba as well, but they still haven't actually finished him off. Now they'll get the kill, but they need more. They're going to try to do whatever they can here to get someone other than Italiano Gangster, because he does have 2 lives to work with, but Parker can't actually lock Newsham down. The Blink is able to get that Snapfire away. And while all that went down, Italiano just kept on chasing onto Leo style. So now Parker, you gotta go. You gotta get out of here. He doesn't have backup. He's got a BKB, I suppose. He'll look for the TP. That is enough to get him away, but ET, I don't know. The decision-making process here from Infinity is starting to get a little bit lax. They don't get to the pit in time. They still try for the fight into the Aegis, and it does not go fantastically for them.
No, they will lose pretty much everything here, and, well, now, what's next? We're kind of just biding our time, just waiting for them to come up to the high ground. There's no buyback on the Lion or the Bat Rider, so we weren't able to find really a great Ravage either. I don't know. The spell usage was just not great. And Frank, well, he's going to get his mana burn. It's a slow push, but a push that you can't really do much about except for dodge these webs. Just doesn't feel like they've really got any initiative right now.
Oh, the Rax is slowly but surely falling as Italiano Gangster is focusing it down. There we go. Eventually able to break their way through. The question now is, do they try for more? The CK has respawned, although he's not in the base. Yeah, they're going to try and swing for 2 here. They force out the Glyph again. And honestly, if no one comes to stop them, why not? Italiano Gangster still has 2 lives to work with the Aegis, so there's not really a massive threat, although now you got to be careful. Bat Rider's back up. If Leo Style gets a lasso and pulls you back in, then things could get a little bit rough even with 2 lives, but Italiano just doesn't seem to care much. Continues to push on that front line, takes the ranged Rax. There's going to be the spit up play into the Kisses. Doesn't find a kill, but will sort of break up the defenders a bit. They're just trying to pick apart this defense as best as they can. All the while, the PL just keeps on hitting on the tower. The Rax, rather.
Yeah, just doesn't need to go anywhere. B9, he's getting repositioned. Does get his ulti popped out, but there's just no good fighting. Okay, lasso back in. Nope. Really kill B9, but...
Yeah, I mean, B9 goes down, but Genic ends up dying as well. What is Parker doing? Parker is sending his Phantasm Illusions to take the top lane. That's... I guess that's not a bad play overall, especially if DogChamp's push into their own base ends up getting sort of pushed away like it does, but that's still the entirety of the middle lane taken and most of bot cleaned out as well.
Yeah, and they do have to make the kind of nasty trek all the way towards that bottom melee racks if they do want to get the full set, but I think that's where DogChamp with the remainder of this Aegis might just want to go right back towards top, just actually make sure that all of the objectives are taken, so you don't have to worry about backtracking for a tier 2. But Infinity are hunting. They're looking, they know that Abaddon's dead for 50 seconds. If they find, let's say, the Broodmother here, or even the Snapfire, Newsham's been doing such a fine job of actually getting them saved with just the Blink Gobble Up, making sure he can spit out his cores so they can actually react with their defensive items. He's been causing quite a few problems for them. But instead, looks like they'll back off a little bit, instead go for the slow push in mid, and, well, it'll be effective, but I don't know. Still feels awkward, and the more Frank shows, the less mana he's going to have to work with. He's on a timer.
He is acting as the distraction, though. The rest of the team tries to go in through the top lane to take the Rax, and they're getting close to it. Parker is going to be able to finish it off, but now he has to activate the BKB. He's just going to TP, but yeah, that's a level 25 talent. Green Coil pierces magic immunity, and Parker... just willing to die to get the Megas, I guess? Because he had to have known that he had that talent. He's had it for a while.
We can only assume. But yeah, that looked a little bit strange. And now, okay, DogChamp, gotta play versus Megas. Don't have to play versus Megas just yet. Actually got kind of lucky here with the way that the timer ended up working. So first Megas wave is gonna come out just now, but they're gonna look to force the CK's buyback, and maybe Infinity are okay enough with that position here, but nobody else can die on the way back to the base, and Genic, well, I think he might just be going down here. I think RCY is just too good with it. I guess Skyward snipes it out. But still, 55 seconds, no CK. They might just go for tier 4s.
There's a buyback, but as you said, DogChamp would love to force it, and Infinity really don't want to be pushed into that scenario, but tier 4s may come under attack. Frank's just going to stand in front of him. Doesn't have much of a choice. He's rooted in place, but he is going to act as that frontline buffer. The Bat Rider, though, did lose about half his HP, so Leo Style had to fall back, but he's going to pop the Firefly and make his way back over. Rooted again by another Spinner's Snare, and this is getting a little bit rough. Leo Styles lost half his HP. Nobody's even actually physically touched him. So he just keeps having to make runs back to the fountain, which means Frank is all alone on that front line. He's trying to hold the Ravage for as long as he can. 15 seconds now for the CK to respawn, but one tier 4 tower has gone down already, ET. Italiano Gangster is trying to work on the second.
And it's still gonna work, though. This stupid Tide Hunter here.
Oh. Leo Style was able to blink into the right spot. They just didn't actually get the lasso down onto Italiano. Not sure they want to, though, because B9 is just waiting for his moment. But the Ravage is going to come through. They will deploy it. Parker's back into the fight. What can they really do with this, though? Brada's already been taken down. Sniped out by the puck in the back line. Meanwhile, Italiano trying to TP away. He makes it out. B9 will not. Trade out supports, but now Genic is on the hunt. He is looking for the puck, but he's not really going to be able to keep the vision onto RCY. And, well, just kind of strange, right? I mean, the CK didn't have to use his buyback, so your Infinity, I think you still like the way that that went down. Sure, you lost a tier 4 tower, but they're still in a relatively solid position. The fight itself turned into just one support for another support, and now they're making their way into their opponent's base because they do still have the Megas.
Yep, they're very satisfied. Man, RCY is just doing such a good job of actually finding Prada every single time. Could not find Anda skin. Oh my god.
Oh, Leo Style gets taken down. The Missile Blade really comes into play here, and now what's going on? The Ancient has been exposed. Could they just go all in for it? The Tide Hunter is going to try. He's got the Anchor Smash talent, and it does affect buildings, so maybe this is doable. They're just going to try and win it right now. 2k health. 1800 now on the Ancient as the fight breaks out. Parker just trying to turn his attention back over to that Ancient. They know the glyph has already been used, but Parker's going to get taken down. Leo Style having to do the damage. Frank, meanwhile, getting hexed up, so he can't right-click now either, but the Ancient is still going to go down, ET. And Infinity say, you know what? We can't kill you, so we'll just ignore you, basically.
That was like... It's hard to figure out what to say, because that was the biggest HP bar diff I feel like I've ever seen ever. They literally just said, yeah, we're tanky enough. Frank, he's not going to die. Our Tide Hunter's just going to go in. Oh, Parker, yeah, he's going to die. But we're going to make him kill half your base before he's actually dead. And DogChamp are just unable. They don't have enough damage. They can kill the Lion. They can kill Prada till he's blue in the face, but it doesn't matter. And even though the game looks so good from RCY, the game looks honestly great from all of the individuals on DogChamp, they just lose because their heroes just don't do enough damage. I don't even know what would have fixed their problem if maybe they got the Silver Edge slightly earlier, or it's impossible to say, actually, because I don't think they were expecting this Tide Hunter to just like buy a Radiance and an Octarine Core and a Shiva's Guard and then just be unable to kill him, because that's just what happened. And then Infinity, it was, like you said, the immediate shift in their mindset. Yeah, we don't care. We're just going to go hit the buildings. We're done playing. Sorry, guys. Like, just go down mid. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, the shift in mindset, I think, is the most important aspect, because you look at Parker, he ends the game 24-7. That is a great stat line, but think about what the team asked him to do for the last, I'd say, 3 major points. 1, die so we can get the Mega Creeps and accept that. 2, don't buy back so that we don't have to take this fight. And then 3, die again back in your opponent's base so that we can take the Ancient. 99% of carries would not be willing to make that play. right? Kill yourself twice and refuse to buy back so that our team can win. Parker was willing to do it, and it works out.
Yeah, no, not the flashiest Dota I think I've ever seen, but it is funny. As soon as they completely gave up on trying to fight at all, they win. You know, maybe this is a lesson. I'm sure there's some fortune cookie style type thing. You need to let go so that way it's not so. Go to game 2. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, we're not here to wax poetic. We're not that great at it, but we're gonna be moving on. Infinity, 3 straight wins now to open up their group stage, looking to make it 4 in a row. We'll see if they can get the 2-0 sweep at DogChamp's expense or if the NA side can salvage a 1-1. So we're going to be hopping on out of here. We'll be back, though, with that Game 2 draft in just a couple of minutes.